Here we go. All right, so linear functions. So just a reminder from yesterday, we were first talking about, we have three forms, and we started with slope intercept. And that one is what? You got it. Y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So, on last night's homework, let's just look at number 3, for example. I gave you y equals negative 3/2 x plus 3. So here's an equation that's in slope-intercept form. And I asked you to find 4 things about this line. I asked you to find A, the slope. Well, that's easy. You can just look at it and tell me the slope is negative 3/2. Easy. B, I asked you to find for me the y-intercept. But I asked you to write it as an ordered pair. So the y-intercept would be 0, 3, right. So in this form of the line, that last number is the y value, where it's crossing the y-axis. So if it's going to cross the y-axis, x has to be 0. So 0, 3. Then the next thing I asked you to find was the x-intercept. This takes a little bit of work. How do you find the x-intercept? Right. So you're going to plug in 0 for y and solve. Okay, so that's how you do it. We just have to do it. So let's see, we plug in 0 for y. And now I just have to solve for x. So what would you do first? Minus 3 to the other side, you bet. Then what? Yeah, I need to get x by itself, so I would divide both sides by negative 3/2. But dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the, you got it. So I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal on both sides. So this all cancels out. So on the right-hand side, I'm just left with x. On the left, if it helps you to make them both fractions, you can. What do you get when you multiply those two? 2. So the x-intercept, my answer for C, is 2, 0. 3. And then the last thing I asked you to do is give me any other point on this line that we haven't talked about yet. How do you do that? That's it. You plug in any number you want for x. Now, I would be smart, since I have to multiply that number by something that has a denominator of 2, I would at least plug in an even number. Because then I won't have to deal with fractions anymore. So, I don't know, what'd you plug in? 4, I heard. Sure. If I plug in a 4, 3/2 times 4, I can reduce the 4 divided by 2 is 2 times negative 3 is negative 6 plus 3. And negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So, one other point on this line is 4, negative 3. But yours could have been whatever. It doesn't matter because you get to plug in whatever you want for the first number. But I personally would have plugged in an even number. I think I heard a lot of you say 2. If you plugged in 2, that's another good choice. What would you get out? Oh, wait, you can't. Because, well, I guess you can. If you plug in 2, you're going to get out a 0. But that's one of the points we already talked about. But anyway, so that's what I wanted you to do for the first 10. Does that make sense? Okay.